everyone, and welcome to The Green Economy, your home of the latest sustainable insights and solutions. Today we're exploring the clean energy revolution and seeing how simple it really will be to exit our current energy crisis. The solutions already exist to solve our current problems, and today we're lucky enough to have a look at 3 of them. From how we're extending the life of wind farms to accessible solar for multi-tenancy buildings and how to enable the green energy transition. First up today, we're excited to be talking with Matthew Steed from Ping Services, who have developed an innovative device to extend the life of wind turbines. Welcome to the show, Matthew.
Thank you, it's great to be here.
Can you tell us an overview of your solution? How does it work and what data is provided to the user?
So we're describing ourselves as an intelligent listening business. So we listen for wind turbine health. So what we do is listen for cracks and holes and damage on wind turbine blades, and we do this using sound. And so the whole point is that damaged wind turbine blades are made of fiberglass and balsa wood, and when they're damaged they make a whistling sound, which is what we detect.
Very nice. So what is the economic benefit of installing this solution?
So the current method of monitoring for wind turbine blades is to only inspect them periodically. So the current method is to perhaps do a visual inspection once a year. But what happens is the damage doesn't occur once a year, and we continuously monitor the blades. So we detect the blade damage earlier, and by detecting it earlier, it means it can be repaired earlier when it's much smaller, and we've seen examples where a small repair might be $5,000, whereas a big repair might be $50,000, $100,000, $200,000. So we're trying to save our wind farm operators money by working out how to repair the damage earlier when it's smaller.
That's a significant saving. For the technical people watching, can you give us some of the technical aspects of your device?
So our device, the heart of it is a little sensor. So we use sound, so we listen for sound. And what we're doing is we hear as each blade passes, and we know what a normal blade sounds like. And we then specifically listen for the differences. So the differences are things like additional sound generated by a crack or a hole. So we listen to the 3 blades as they're going past, and we try and detect the differences and the whistling sounds.
I never knew there was so much audio related to energy.
Yes.
So which countries is your solution currently deployed in, and where are you looking to take it in the future?
We are in 23 countries, so some very interesting countries like Mongolia, Romania, France, Germany, UK, across to the US, Brazil, Uruguay, Canada, so just to name a few, and New Zealand and Australia.
The prime ones, absolutely. Thank you very much, Matthew. It's been great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, and I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're excited to welcome Will and Steve from Illume Energy, who have created the world's first technology enabling multi-tenancy buildings to share solar power. Great to have you with us, Will.
Thanks, Avada. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you tell us about Illume Energy? What do you do?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the kind intro. So Illume Energy is a renewables company. We're a hardware manufacturer. We were formed in 2015 right here in Melbourne. We started off as a University of Melbourne group project with 5 or 6 individuals. From there, we were kind of formed basically with the idea of democratizing solar. So we wanted to ensure that basically every individual within our communities did have the access to benefits of solar, both the renewable benefits, clean energy, and also the financial benefits associated with that. From the beginning, we started off with a few power purchase agreements with a few remote communities. From there, we graduated into looking more in-depthly to those who were most at risk of the increases of energy costs within our community. From there, the biggest thing that we came across was apartment owners or apartment dwellers. So anyone that lived in an apartment, unit, flat, anything as such, didn't have the same benefits or access to solar that traditional homeowners did. Now, being within Melbourne, especially in an urban environment, there are a lot of multi-tenancy buildings within this space. And we saw that there was a huge opportunity to produce a product or service that could meet the needs of these individuals. From there, about 3 years ago, we commercialised what we have as the SolShare, which is a module, which is our only product we sell at this stage. And this, in context, is a solar splitter that allows you to connect more than one apartment to a shared rooftop solar system. From there, we've taken that international as well. So we're established in mainly US, UK, but have installs in over 4 countries at this stage, and then have employees in over 6 countries as well. So taking the world on a little bit, just to say the least, for the time being anyway. We are still very unique in the offer that we provide. So we're still the only hardware company that can provide a service for what we do as well.
Beautiful. Well domination your cards. I like it. So tell us, how do you make this possible?
So the actual Illume box, it's a white module, white good, I guess you would say. Very similar in size to a typical solar inverter. So if you take a standard apartment building, you'll have a shared rooftop solar array, so a group of solar panels on your rooftop. From there, you'll have one feed that goes down to the ground floor, where there usually is an inverter, a solar inverter that converts the solar power to usable energy that can be used by the apartment owners within the building. SolShare then fits in there on the ground floor next to your meter board. And what SolShare actually does, it has that one solar feed in, and it actually outputs individually to all your apartment meters or electricity meters. So if you have a meter, the key thing is if it's with, say, Origin, AGL, or any energy retailer, it really doesn't matter. So what Illume does is you can feed your solar into these and still get all your feed-in tariffs, all your benefits of solar that a typical homeowner would as well. So there's no difference to that of an individual standalone home from there as well. There are some other applications, basically anything that's multi-tenanted, common meter board, strata type buildings, body corporate. So offices, small commercial, little shopping strips as well are also suitable. So there's quite a lot of scenarios and applications where SolShare can be used.
Beautiful. So what sort of a difference does Illume make in the current ongoing energy crisis?
Yeah, thank you for asking that about it. The biggest thing at the moment is, especially right now, is the cost of living, especially with energy price increases as well. Now, we are a little bit sheltered in Australia compared to some of our other markets, say in Europe and the US to a degree as well. But the biggest thing we see from this is around 2/3 of our work is actually in social housing, among the other avenues where large scale developments. So the key thing is a lot of the apartments that SolShare has been installed on, there are very at risk people who, if cost of living does go up, they'll be negatively affected in a large way. So SolShare plays a massive way or a massive role in allowing you to share solar to, say, social housing tenants and all tenants within apartment buildings, especially in our urban environments as well. So that's just offsetting that grid consumption of energy and then getting a little bit of feed-in tariff as well. So it's quite an exciting space. The other big thing is the change in energy prices has been a big thing. So we've had a lot of energy retailer talk in the media that they can't function in the current environment because the volatility of energy prices is just too high. So traditionally with apartments, there was only little microgrids that you could engage in. But with SolShare, it allows you to keep your freedom of choice for your energy retailer as well, which is really important. So you can shop around for your best deal and you're not locked into anything as well.
Sounds like the perfect solution. So how does someone go about getting SolShare installed in their multi-tenancy building?
Yeah, so we, as a hardware manufacturer, very similar to, say, an inverter manufacturer, we work with an established network of installers or electrical contractors that can install SolShare. So whatever country you're within, they can go in and install the entire solar system. Illume comes in as a component of that. From there, someone is interested, we always recommend getting in touch with us directly via our website or reaching out to anyone in the team, and we can kind of run you through the options available to you. We play a big role in education, so we work a lot with consulting engineering bodies within the industry, ESC consultants, just ensuring that people have the right knowledge and the right approach to go about obtaining solar for apartments. From there, we can take you through the process as well.
Sounds pretty straightforward. Are you looking at releasing any further technology to help combat the energy crisis?
At this stage, no. What we do, however, is we have a massive research and development team here in Melbourne, in Richmond, actually. We also manufacture here in Australia as an Australian-owned company. But the biggest thing that we do is we always have software updates, refining the algorithms that we have on our SolShare as well that distribute energy in a smart way to these tenants. From there, we're always refining the hardware as well. So at this stage, it's small little refinements, similar to all your major smartphone manufacturers. Maybe you get a slightly different, newer version each year. They still play the same role. So at this stage, just with the SolShare.
A giant smartphone that enables solar. That's brilliant.
Pretty much, yeah. Just without a screen, yeah.
Well, we love it. Thank you for coming and sharing that with us today, Will.
Thanks for having me, Ivana. Really appreciate it.
Finally today, we have the honour of talking with Maria Petrovic, one of Australia's leading voices in the renewable energy transition. Welcome to the Green Economy, Maria. Can you tell us how your work is enabling the green energy transition?
So Energy Synapse is a software and advisory firm, and our mission is to empower greater investment in clean energy by giving companies and governments the data and insights they need to make informed decisions. So we specialise in wholesale electricity markets, and these markets tend to be incredibly complex and very fast moving. So to give you an example, here in Australia's national electricity market, prices fluctuate every 5 minutes, and what we call the energy market is actually made up of 9 markets for different types of grid services. So it's a very dynamic field, and our job is to make sure that our clients understand the risks and opportunities in the energy sector. So we tend to focus on utility scale clean energy projects, and these types of projects often cost in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So the stakes are very high to get that decision right. And to give you some insight around what our software tools uncovered, is that there's actually some wind farms in the Australian market which have been built that are 4 times as valuable as others. And in the current energy crisis, we've seen some batteries earning 5 times as much revenues as other ones. So for anyone who's a project developer or an investor, it's really crucial for them to understand what's driving these differences so they can allocate their capital in the most effective way.
Beautiful, thank you. So, which new technologies do you see as a key part of the clean energy future?
When we think about the clean energy transition, there are several goals that we want to achieve. So firstly, we want to decarbonize the grid, but then we also need to make sure that the grid is stable and reliable, and that it's affordable to businesses and consumers. So in order to achieve that set of goals, we actually need a whole portfolio of different technologies. So there isn't one silver bullet that's going to solve everything. So we do need a mix of wind and solar, battery and hydro. We also need to be investing in the transmission system, which is going to unlock new renewable energy zones and take advantage of geographic diversity. And the other thing we need to think about is, in addition to the large scale infrastructure, there's also quite a significant role for smaller, what we call demand side resources. So these are things like rooftop solar, home batteries and electric vehicles. And the really exciting thing about decarbonising the electricity sector is that it then provides decarbonisation pathways for other sectors through electrification, so such as transport and heating. So there's really a huge amount of opportunities across quite a broad range of technologies in this sector.
Sounds very, very exciting. But how can the trade sector help enable the transition?
So hardware and infrastructure is really at the core of the clean energy transition. And there's an opportunity to enable this transition across the whole value chain. So everything from mining, manufacture of parts and components, and then the global distribution of all of the above. And certainly one of the challenges that we've seen through the COVID period, like in many other industries, are supply chain bottlenecks. So there's such a huge demand for all this clean energy tech at the moment, and that's going to just keep rising. So it's going to be quite important that the supply side of the equation is able to keep up with that demand going forward.
That's great. So what do you see as the future of global energy?
The future of global energy is actually really exciting, and the power generation sector will be the first to decarbonize. So we already have all the key technologies that already exist, and in most countries around the world, firmed renewable energy has already been the cheapest form of new build electricity generation for a number of years. So for power generation, all the key technological and economic ingredients are already there, and we're really ready for a step change transformation of this sector. We're going to see more change in power generation over the next 10 years than we have in the last 100 years combined. So this is the most exciting time possible to be in this space. But of course, energy is broader than just power generation. So for example, many industrial processes rely heavily on natural gas, particularly for their heating requirements. Of course, there's also the transport sector, which is very oil dependent. So over a medium to long-term period, there are going to be opportunities to electrify these applications as well. And where direct electrification is difficult, there'll be opportunities to utilize green hydrogen, so as an example, to make green steel instead of using coal. So really all our primary sources of energy will eventually transition to clean sources, but the immediate and biggest current opportunity is in power generation specifically.
Well, it sounds like we've got a very exciting future. Thank you so much for joining us today, Maria. It's really great to have your insights.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you for watching The Green Economy. We hope you're all inspired to join the green future. We'll see you all next time.